hit me. Are you a digital nomad, or maybe you just want to know a little bit more about Bratislava? So you're in the right place. Welcome to the first digital nomad guide to Bratislava. It's the capital of Slovakia, a great, beautiful country with a lot of nature and a wonderful people, including this one right here. We went to Bratislava in January. Maybe that's not the best month to visit, but the city still looks very nice and very beautiful.
So Bratislava is definitely not on the digital nomad map, but especially if you're in the surrounding area of Budapest or Vienna, it's worth a visit for a week or two, like we did.
Maybe just a weekend, just pop up in Bratislava to see what it's about.
So cost-wise, Bratislava is probably not the cheapest, especially if you're coming here thinking that Central or Eastern Europe is going to be cheaper than anywhere else. So in general, you would pay probably the same amount of money that you would pay somewhere in Germany or Spain.
Yeah, the idea that Bratislava would be cheaper than it actually was, so it was not the best surprise to see the prices practiced here.
So we have a split of the costs for food, for accommodation, and for other things that we spent and also that we researched that you would very likely spend if you were to come here for a while.
So we start with Airbnb prices. An apartment in the city center should be around 900 euros. Maybe you can find cheaper ones a little bit outside of the city center, which would be a nice option as well.
If you're the co-living kind of person and you're looking forward to spend some time living with other digital nomads, Bratislava may not be the best place for you because as far as we know, there's no co-livings here. However, CocoHub is launching in Bratislava very soon, and although that's not a traditional co-living, it's more like people living together in the same area of the city, it's still better than nothing.
Manuela.
It's Kofola. Okay, so for groceries, Bratislava probably costs the same as any other European country, so expect to pay probably the same as you would pay anywhere in Germany, maybe a little bit more.
We spent around 50 euros during a week, but we went out quite a few times. So expect to spend a little bit more than that for two people.
Yeah, so in general, if you're planning your budget for a whole month, for one person, it would be around 200 euros of groceries, and that is taking account that you're eating out all of the time, almost. This is basic groceries.
Supermarkets are widely available. You have Lidl, Billa and Tesco. You can find several of them in the city center, some of them even inside shopping malls.
And I'm going to say you have incontinence problems, which you do. So for eating out, there's plenty of really nice places in the center of Bratislava. You can choose between cafes that serve brunches all day, you can go to fusion restaurants, you can go to burger places, and there's just plenty of choice everywhere. The prices, however, in the city center are higher, so we went to one of the best places to work from, which we'll mention later. It's Urban House, and we paid about 4 euros for a gingerbread latte, about almost the same for a cappuccino, and you would expect to pay 13 euros for a burger there, or around 7 for avocado toast, which is pretty pricey for Bratislava.
Not the cheapest, no.
So our suggestion for eating out is trying burgers at Regal Burger, then going to a fusion restaurant which does Asian. It's Soho House, and
it was really good.
Yes, it's very popular, it's very tasty, and it's right in the old city center.
Make sure to book it in advance because it gets full.
It gets very busy, yes. And for vegetarians or vegans, there's a place that's called Foodstock, and they sell amazing Japanese gyozas and ramens and misos and stuff like that, and it's all vegan and vegetarian.
Oh my god, the beer! Beer is just amazing. You need to try Slovak beer because it's one of the best in the world. The prices for beer is quite cheap in the supermarkets, around 70 cents a bottle. In the restaurants, it would be around 2 euros. Some other drinks might include the national Slovak drink Slivovice, which you definitely should try. We also tried some local whiskey called Nestville, and it was surprisingly good.
So in general, Bratislava has very good public transport. It's also extremely walkable, so we have a few tips for you to get around. The most widely available transport in Bratislava is probably buses. They're everywhere, they're pretty much on time, and you can just hop on one once you buy a ticket from a machine or a kiosk. They cost about 70 cents to €1.50. And they're based on minutes, so you basically need to check how long your ride is gonna take, and then you just buy your ticket and that's it. If you're staying in the city for longer, you can also buy a monthly card, which is gonna cost you not even €30, and you can use any kind of mode of transport within Bratislava.
Another widely available transportation within the city is the trams, where you can also use the same exact tickets. And here is the train station that takes you to the outskirts of Bratislava. It's the Satanic station.
Uber exists in Bratislava, so if you have the app, you can easily use it all around. It's cheaper than taxis, so if you need to get somewhere, definitely use that. Although Slovak people still use a taxi app, which is called Hopin. It basically works the same as Uber.
In Bratislava you also have some beautiful yellow city bikes. You can find many stations of these bikes around the city and expect to pay €6 a day or €9 a month. All in all, the city is quite walkable, so we barely took any transports during our stay here.
If you're looking into places to stay in Bratislava, we highly recommend you stick to the immediate city center, as there's massive traffic jams all around Bratislava. So if you don't want to get stuck in a big one, then definitely stay somewhere around the main area.
Right, oh my god, those roads are awful.
If you do prefer a quieter location, however, you might look into Airbnbs on the Bratislava Castle Hill, and that's more of a posh area, and it's very quiet and it's very pretty, and it only is going to take you about 10 minutes or 15 minutes to walk down to the old city center. When it comes to coworkings in Bratislava, there's plenty of them to choose from. Most of them are in the city center as well. One of the most favorite ones is Progress Bar, which is right in the historic center. That's going to cost you about €50 a week or €150 per month. The only thing that we found was very strange about coworkings in Bratislava is that they tend to close their doors for people who don't have a fixed desk. So if you need to work longer hours or prefer to work in the afternoon, you might want to look into that. So at Impact Hub, you can also get a daily pass for €15, and then you have weekly and monthly passes, but the issue again is the same, so you have to buy a fixed desk in order to be able to access after 6 p.m. My personal favorite on the list is the coworking, which is situated a little bit outside of town. It's located in a big building which used to be a school before, and now it's a sort of cultural center with a lot of artist studios. There's a yoga studio in there, there's a coworking as well, and it attracts a lot of locals. So if you want to make some local connections or just really experience the local side of Bratislava, this might be the best place for you. And it's called Nomad.
So personally, we like to work from cafes, but don't expect faster internet here. Our favorite is called Urban House. It's very pretty, it has big tables, sofas, you can work from there. There's many people working in there. The food is really good, but the internet is not the best. We also check Martinus bookstore, which is on the top of a bookstore, which is a very interesting place to work. It's a more chilled atmosphere. The food is not as good as Urban House, but it's a very nice space. Finally, we also have 5 Points. It's a smaller coffee shop. The coffee is really good. Maybe it doesn't have the best tables to work from, but for a couple of hours, it's also a place worth checking out.
And they have an option for you to order a selfie-chino, which we did.
Look at her, so pretty.
Drink like me.
Oh, you're very tasty. As we said before, Bratislava may not be the best digital nomad destination. We couldn't find any Facebook groups, but it's still a very nice place to visit and mingle with the locals.
So if you're planning to meet some locals while you're in Bratislava, we highly suggest that you go to some of the coworkings and start talking to people there, because most likely all of them are local remote workers, so you will make some connections. So there's plenty of things to do in Bratislava, although it's not gonna take you that long to see them all. Maybe 1 week or maximum 2 weeks is gonna be enough. We went up to the Bratislava Castle Hill, and from then on you can just walk down to the old city center, to the Danube River, and just walk around. Within a few days basically you would have seen everything. And summertime is especially nice because there's a massive park on one of the sides of the Danube River, and there's also an urban beach there.
So definitely try some local food like alushki or pierogi, which are very tasty. Also, of course, try the beer and slivovica. Well, someone ate all the pastries.
So of course, if you're coming to Bratislava, you're gonna want to hang out in the evening. There's plenty of places also to do that. Our favorite was probably Bukovski Bar. It's a really nice place that's very popular with the young people in Bratislava as well. And it gets pretty busy as of 6 p.m. almost every day. They have very cheap alcohol, but also very nice alcohol. So there's a lot of cocktails, shots, and things like this. Another thing that we would suggest you definitely check out when you're in Bratislava, it's KC Dunaj. It's a cultural center for the young people. It's very hip. There's a lot of concerts, there's a lot of parties, workshops, talks, stand-up comedy shows and stuff like that. So if you really want to have a good time and meet some locals, this is definitely the place to go. So this is the famous staircase of KC Dunaj, and there's graffiti and stuff all around, and I guess it's cool.
So if you're into running, Bratislava has some cool spots for you, especially the Danube River side. It also is a very nice place to cycle. If you're a gym rat, you also have some gyms available like the Fit-In and the Golem.
So if you're more into yoga, you might want to check out Yoga Beats Studio, which is located right in the center of Bratislava. It's my personal favorite space, and I go there almost every time that I visit Bratislava. The instructors there are very nice. They all speak English, and they welcome beginners as well as advanced people.
Namaste.
All in all, Bratislava is a good destination for about a week or two, especially if you're in the surrounding area and if you're planning to visit Budapest and Vienna. When it comes to the community of digital nomads, there's not much here going on yet. Maybe that will change soon. But overall, it was a nice experience.
Yeah, it was my first time in Bratislava. I didn't know what to expect. I did expect it was a little bit cheaper, but it was still a very nice place to visit. So that was it, guys, the first ever digital nomad guide to Bratislava. Hope you enjoy. If you liked it, give it one of these. Subscribe, because it really helps this new channel, and see you in the next video. Ciao!
I'm gonna say it. I just don't want to. Some monkeys for my nose, okay.